It's been a long time since I did a video. I've been in a much smaller apartment. It's hard to shoot video in here. Hopefully this one turns out okay. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Anyways, I was at REPC. It's the famous place in Seattle that sells used PCs and has all kinds of stuff going back quite a few years. Only sad downside is they only do PCs. They don't do Macs, Amigas, Commodores, anything but PCs. But today I wanted to build a PC. I had a 46 that I was working with, but the ISA, it was ISA only, so the ISA was limiting my desires for that machine. So I went and I bought a nice 46 board with PCI slots, and when I went to plug it in, it went bang. So I took that back. Now we are sporting a Pentium with a K6 200 in it. I've already had this powered up on my bench, made sure that the board posts and everything, because this came out of their untested bin, got me a slightly lower price. But I've got a 128 stick in it and a 64 gig stick of PC100. Two 128s doesn't work, it only gives me 128. I got a 256 stick, it errors out at 64 megs, but a 64 and a 128 gets me 192. So that's a lot of RAM for a Pentium 200 essentially. So I've got a couple other things. This is awesome. It's a unopened box of 3.5 inch floppies. It says Cool Discs. It's Memorex brand, 10 pack, $3. That was pretty awesome. They've got keyboards there for $2 a piece. I needed a PS2 keyboard for this thing, so this is just a basic Dell. It says Quiet Key. I like the feel of it, even though I know being Quiet Key it's going to be just rubber domes under there. It feels great, and it's not as quiet as they let on. So I don't know why they call it Quiet Key, but it's 95 or later because it's got the Windows keys. I don't know what year it's from. I got a PS2 optical mouse because I didn't have one. This one is made by Wise, so it's for a Wise terminal. But being PS2 it'll work. And it's optical, so nobody wants to deal with a mouse with a ball in it. Those are terrible. So, got that. I think the mouse cost me $2 as well. Mouse pads. I have brand new mouse pads for $2 a piece. I went ahead and grabbed 2 of them. Never had too many of those, especially glass Surface desktop. Now this video card, I'm not exactly sure. Oh, GeForce 4 MX 4000. In my testing of this board, I could not get this video card put anything out, so it may be bad. This is an S3 Verge. I wanted something basic. It's got the memory maxed out. Oh, that chip's not all the way in. Anyways, I couldn't get any video output on this one either, so I don't really care. I don't need an S3 Verge. Those were junk video cards. They were okay for 2D, but nothing else. I picked up this SATA card, so I think it's SATA 1, but it's got a PATA, parallel ATA, and then 2 SATA ports. And it's got BIOS. It's made by Promise, so should be pretty decent. I don't know if I'll use this or not, but I got PCI slots to put it in. Oh, this thing was like $2.95. Video cards are $3 a piece, so yeah, $3. This video card they gave me for free because the capacitors are bulged on it. He's like, oh man, they should have not put this out for stock. I'm like, dude, it's just bulging capacitors. I'll put new ones on it. He's like, well, you can have it for free then. So this says it's a Video 228 PCI twin. So it's got two VGA outputs. Don't know much beyond that. Yeah. And then in the section with modern video cards, I was digging through all the PCIe cards, hoping I could find a PCI one, and I totally did. This is a GeForce FX. It's PCI, not PCI Express, not AGP, and it's got 256 megs of RAM. So I just watched a video review of this, and the guy, I don't know what processor he was using, but PCI version of this, he's maxing out the settings at 1024 in Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament. So yeah, this will be more than adequate for any Pentium era gaming I want to do. Even came with the driver CD, so that's pretty neat. Not that I wouldn't just download newer drivers. I plan to run Windows 98 on this. Not going to go try and pushing XP on here. That would be more of a Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Athlon era thing. And I don't want to get into that era. I wanted to stay back in the, DOS and Windows 98. So this is a compact flash adapter, plugs straight into the IDE port on the motherboard. I've got a bunch of these. Once I found out they worked, I started buying them. They're really cheap on Amazon. So I'm going to run that. I've got a 2 gig card around here somewhere. I'll swap into there instead of this 128 meg card. So I think that's everything. Oh, no, that's not everything. I also got this nice retro case. I got a reset button on it. I got power button. I got hard drive and power. It came with a 3.5 floppy. It came with a DVD player. I already picked up a DVD burner the last time I was there. My old 486 wouldn't play with this drive at all. I'm hoping to have better luck with it in this machine. So let's see. It also came with a power supply. It is a Sparkle, and if you know anything about modern computers, you don't want to deal with Sparkle. They went out, I mean, they lived up to their name. They would sparkle and explode, but it's rated for 230 watts or something like that. Yeah, 235, and I'm going to be running like 30 off of it, so it'll be fine. Not too concerned. It's either this or I run a 750 watt 80 plus platinum. That would be seriously overkill for this machine and probably wouldn't even fit. It's a lot longer. Anyways, case was marked $50. For whatever reason, they were having a sale on pink tags, so I got it for $7.50, which I thought he rang it up wrong. I still think he might have, but whatever. I don't work there. So this is an ATX case. This is an AT motherboard. AT motherboards will fit in an ATX case. No, I don't have the right back plate for that, so I'm just going to remove the back plate. Keyboard connector is going to be right here. What I don't have is this motherboard has a PS2 connector that connects right here. I may try and figure out the pin out of that and rig up something so that I can plug my PS2 mouse into that. I got 2 serial ports on board. I've got a parallel port. It has onboard sound, but I disabled that in the BIOS because back when Sound Blaster Lives went down to like $2 a piece on eBay, I bought 10 of them. So these things came out, when Windows 98 was out, and they cost a fortune back then. But they continued to work to the point where you can still use these in a Hackintosh running OS 10. So you can't use them in Windows anymore, I'm pretty sure, unless somebody else has made drivers for them. But yeah, somebody made drivers to make this thing work in OS 10. So that's why I had a bunch of them back when I was running, Ivy Bridge or even Core 2 era Hackintoshes. These were the bee's knees for a sound card. And then I've got a 10100 network card because I definitely want this thing to be on the network. So now I'm just going to build this thing. So I'm going to switch the camera over into time-lapse mode. Well, maybe not. I'm going to bring the camera closer so you can just see into the case. Okay, I've got to remove this little I/O shield on the back of the case. The factory one that would have come with this case. It's actually screwed in. There we go. The other stuff I don't need right now. Now, I'll pull these cables out for now. I even got the audio cable for the DVD player. That's neat. Those are hard to find nowadays, unless you have a stash of them somewhere. Okay, now I've got to set up the standoffs on this case that were set up originally for an ATX board and set it up for an AT board. So I can already tell this one has to go. And the pliers. Okay, I have the perfect pliers now. That looks good, that looks good. I'll probably use one out here if possible. Nope, there's none there. Okay, so I need one more here. So this one I just took out, I can put it here. So there should be 5 that I'm actually going to be able to use on this board. Probably have cleaned out this case before putting it together, but I'm not one for detailing cases. Okay, so there's all 5 lined up. I got one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. And nothing in between, which would be very bad. It tends to fry boards. So I've got the power supply out while I do this install because it's better that way. But the power supply should be the very next thing I put in, I think. If not, I might do the IDE cable here. So, next question is, are these coarse thread or fine thread? I'll start with coarse thread, and I'll try one of the spare standoffs I got over here. I'm thinking fine thread. Try this. Yes, they are fine thread. I'm not going to tighten any of them yet. I'm just going to bring them down, almost making contact so that I can get the screws in. I want to get all the screws started before I tighten any of them. No, normally it'll be fine. I'll put that on. Next up, I'm going to want to hook up the front I/O wires. As I get old, need lots of light to see these things nowadays. We used to just do this in the dark. There's the speaker. Oh jeez, I hate that it has nothing at this end. Or the old white standoffs with me and hose like I would have back in the day. Power LED. Let's see, hard drive. Turn on switch. Okay, hard drive. I guess that. Okay, and we got a reset switch. Reset. That might be the reset pins. I also can't figure out what model board this is. I've got a V3.2 up in the corner, but no markings anywhere on this board as to a brand. I looked on the front and the back with a flashlight, went over every inch of this board. I can't figure out what brand it is. It's something generic. So. Luckily, most of the jumpers are labeled on here pretty well. It took me forever to find the power switch.
got a fan header on this board, which is kind of amazing. Key lock. Doesn't it like 3 of the pins in the key lock for power LED? It's been so long since I used a board this old. Anyways.
This cd-rom is set to master. I'm going to set you to slave. No, the other one's set to slave. I'll just leave them both where they're at then. Let's put some screws in this cd-rom drive.
These are the fine ones as well. There's a fine one that's not super long. There's a hard with screw holes. That one lines up okay. Motherboard tray is removable. I totally could have taken it out of the case. That's a feature they don't have anymore. Cool. Anyways, let's just screw that cd-rom drive on this side.
Yay, cool. It's got this perfect screw spot to get to the screw on the drives. So, okay, they're both in there well now. It had a standard 40-pin IDE cable, and I don't know if you remember your parallel IDE days, but this is not going to be fast enough for a DVD drive. So I happen to have lots of 80 pins from all of the last motherboards I bought, and I saved them. Here's a brand you don't hear every day. A-Bit. Everybody remember A-Bit? Man. I liked A-Bit back in the day. Now it's got a missing pin, and the motherboard does not have a missing pin. So I either need to dig it out of dig this pin out of this connector, or I need to snap a pin off on the board. Just going to make sure. Where's my light? I need two. Oh, right here. Okay, so it's directly back into the right side of the pin. Okay. Well, I either just screwed it up or not. Okay, I had this little Acme thing with a nice hole in the middle, Acme needle, and I've removed that pin on the motherboard, and it plugs right in. So what that tells me is that this IDE port on this motherboard is not not designed to use this kind of cable, which means we won't actually get these speeds. But whatever. The good thing about these good old IDE cables, see, it's trying to block the CPU fan's air. Alright, so I've got that in there now. Got this about as well as I can get it. I can decide which side of the CPU's air I want to block. Probably this side. Whatever. I still need to dust that CPU fan. I need to dust the power supply. Okay. Oh, so it goes in like that, and then it's going to rotate up like this. So there's that power supply. Look at how tight this thing gets once you put everything in it. Now, just standard screws for the power supply.
It's just a standard 80 millimeter. I have a bunch of those. I've got 2 of these in here, so I'm going to hand out for it. 2, 3, and 1 more. Alright, let's swap this for closure. elbow close for screws. There we go.
Now this case has a bunch of punch outs. So you can run the parallel, 2 serials, a game port, something big and massive there. So that's nice. I'd love to find an AT compatible cover for this, so if you know where I can buy those, that would be great. But otherwise I don't really care. It's not like this thing's got any fans in it to move air properly anyways. Oh hey, check this out. We got the PC speaker in the bottom of this, but there's also a PC speaker mount right here. I'm going to put it right there so it comes out the front. There's almost air holes there, so yeah, you could put a fan right here. It's designed to have a fan there, pulling air this way. I might do that. In fact, I probably will do that at some point, even if it can't get air through the front of this case. Now, I can go ahead and plug in the hard drive. I'll probably just do a test install on the 128 meg drive. It should be big enough to install Windows 98. If not, I'll just swap it. So, power for the motherboard. Plug that in. Go into your slot. There you go. Good. And next up, we need power for the hard drive controller, or hard drive card. And the CPU power is going to get power up here. And I've got these two that can go through the DVD drives. Oh, get in there slot. Oh, dang, that pin's bent. There we go. I don't think I did that. There we go. And the other DVD drive. So hopefully they both work. Knowing my luck, neither will work. But anyways, so power to the CPU fan actually comes through one of these. And floppy power. And then it had a floppy cable. So the end with the twisted thing goes to the floppy drive. Oh, hard to see. Alright, and then the floppy controller is somewhere funny on this board. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's over here by the RAM. It's got this stupid zip tie on it. That'll give me enough. More cable tangle. Okay, I'm hoping that the CMOS battery is good. I only got the error once and I had to reset the CMOS, so it probably is. Now, this video card worked in the second slot down, so I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. Maybe it's superstition, maybe that's the correct slot for it. So that's the GeForce FX 5500. That is like a 2003 video card. Like a 1996 motherboard. Let's see whether the date code's on here. 9801. Yeah. I'll just go with that one chip. So this is a 98 motherboard with a 2003 video card in it. It got a late in life video upgrade now. Very late in life. Okay. Sound card. Somewhere I've got this. Does not work with this, does it? I got auxiliary in, I got CD in. Here's CD in, but it's a completely different kind of connector. Dang it. Let's see if I got a different Sound Blaster Live with this tiny little white connector. That's so annoying. Okay, so no CD-ROM hookup for now. We're going to put this above the monitor after. Come on, get in your slot. There we go. Yeah, now we're in. Cases are like cats. They're not happy if they don't draw some blood. Sound Blaster Live 5.1. I might have to go back to the standard live because I want to run the original drivers, so it might complain. Well, I might move this video card down to the last slot because this fan on it is going to be right up against whatever, but I'll work on that later after I've confirmed the system works. And for now, network card. I might even go with an ISA 10 megabit network card because I have one of those and it's more than enough for this era of machine. I don't need to be pulling files down any faster than that. Cool. Did I seriously route this up and over like that? What was I thinking? Let's unplug, route it under this rail. Put it into a floppy drive. Plug it into the CPU fan. So I've got 2 serial ports. This not going to work. This is for a different shaped PS2 port. They didn't have a standard for these things, so it was really annoying for a while there. But I can figure it out, pin it out, and just stick these in the correct spots later on. For now, I have a serial mouse if I have to use it. So, we were discussing the back of the case having good spots. So here's one. This will be a parallel port. This is what we used to have to do before ATX. We used to just have to punch out holes on the side of the case and put in ports manually. ATX made this so much easier. Wiggle them back and forth until it punches out. Let's see if I can turn this in a way you might be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, punch that block out. No parallel port for now, it's fine, I don't have anything to plug into it. I'll just leave the cable sitting there for now. Anyways, yes, pretty much everything from REPC built this. I gotta clean off the top. There's our $50 price tag. So I don't know what motherboard was in this thing originally, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Pentium of some sort. Just given what all's in there. I mean, well, it would have had to have been it could have been a Pentium too, because it was set up for ATX. But yeah. So I guess all we can do now is see if the thing will power up. I'm going to get an LCD out so you guys don't have to stare at a flickering CRT, and we'll go from there. I'll get some thumb screws for that, the lid of the case. Cool, I got 6 matching thumb screws. 6 it is. Screws for the lid. Let's get the LCD and reposition the camera. Alright, monitor. On, monitor on. There we go. Computer's power, and there we go. It's on. CPU fan is spinning. Hopefully she posts. Okay, I'm just going to turn off the camera and troubleshoot for a while. Alright, so I pulled out one of the sticks of memory and it was working again, so I probably... These memory slots are really primitive. You have to press crazy hard to get the memory in, and then the one that you just put in pops out. So they're just very primitive slots. I'm going to try to reseat that again, but first let's just get it working, you know. It came up with a CMOS checksum errors, so I'm going to go ahead and put a new battery in there. I got these Amazon Basic 2032s. If I can get the darn thing out of there. Not too surprising the old battery had failed. Come on, okay. Give me the battery. Cool. Alright. Let's set the date. It's April. Oh, come on. 24th. T1. There we go. It's 18. Come on. 18. 42. 42. There we go, detected the 128 gig SD card. These are both cd-roms now. CD-ROM. We want it in 32-bit mode. CD-ROM. 32-bit mode. Oh, let's see. First boot device. Yeah, you guys can see this smaller. Okay, let me get you a little closer. There we go. First boot device, we're going to set that to CD-ROM, floppy, and hard drive. Try the boot devices. We don't need smart because we're not using a real hard drive. Floppy drive seek. I like that sound when it boots up. We'll do that. PS2 mouse, sure. Okay, I'm just going to leave those alone for now. Advanced chip setup. SRAM access time. I'll set it to 10. Sounds good to me. Refresh cycle time. 0. How about that? Power management enabled. Green PC monitor. Video power down. Yeah, those are fine. PCI latency, drop it to 32. Plug and play operating system, yeah, because it's going to be 98. Offboard PCI IDE card. No, we don't have one. We're using the onboard one. Peripheral setup. Floppy controller. We're not using the second serial port right now. Parallel port. We'll go EPP. It doesn't use any DMA channels that way. Onboard Sound Pro. Disable. There we go. Let's make sure it posts again. There we go. Now this is a K6-200. I had it overclocked to 233 at one point. I'll set it back there after I'm done getting everything installed. I want to have it stable for the install. A drive error. Oh yeah, nothing's plugged in. So let's go ahead and turn it off and plug in some cables again. See if we lose the posting. Are we going to post? There we go. Always just long enough that I'm not sure it's going to actually work. Boy, that's quick. This should be primary, so let's get the Windows 98 CD in there. case. My CD case from the dawn of time. Here's Windows 98. For PCs without Windows. Boy, is that scratched up. But it still works, I think. I've had that disk 23 years. Okay. Get the 3-finger salute and wait for it to come back to life. Okay, boot from cd-rom. Start Windows 98 setup. Found both drives, that's cool. This thing is the auto center. Positioning. Where's it on? There we go. Okay. To set up Windows now, press Enter. Fat table on the hard drive was bad apparently. Or the SD card. I'm going to reformat it anyways, so it doesn't matter to me. And we do not have a mouse. Darn. Windows cannot find enough disk space. I need at least 205 megs. Yeah, I got... Okay, so we'll come back up and see what... Yeah, 205 megs. I could install 95 on here, but that's not ideal. I'm going to let it boot off the CD again, and we'll just drop the DOS with CD support. Boot from cd-rom. cd-rom support. Should just boot straight in. So fdisk. Display. Delete. Primary. Been using fdisk since I was 10 years old, so if I went through that a little bit too fast for you, I'm sorry. But generally you hit enter a lot. It's actually a lot easier than it used to be. DOS 3.3 was a lot more complicated. So now we're going to go format, C:, yes. D:, boom! Boy, did that format fast. Okay, so now I've got 127 megs instead of 110, but it still won't be enough to actually install Windows. So let me go swap that compact flash card. Alright, so I decided to do some changes. We're going to turn off the onboard IE controller. We'll put the CD-ROMs into this one, and we're going to use SATA. We're going to try to use SATA. Who knows what the machine's going to, how the machine's going to react to this. It may refuse to boot entirely. There we go. It's in. Let's get a screw into that. I've got a temporary adapter set up for power to the SATA drive. If that works out, I'll see if I can come up with something a little bit more permanent. Actually, I can just take the CPU fan here, cut that off, and I can adapt it in right there. I'm not going to worry about the 3.3 for the SATA drive because they don't need it. Okay, I need a SATA cable, and I've got a SATA drive. Just going to screw it in on this side for now. Alright, got some power. Of course it's backwards. There's some power. Stuff that up there for now. And SATA cable. Good thing is, this gets the IDE cable right out of the fan. I'm going to have to go into the BIOS and turn off the internal IDE. As soon as this comes up with the screen. Okay. Advanced setup. Oh, that's CPU fan. Oh, it's. I don't know. On-chip USB. Let's enable that. On-chip VGA is disabled. Good. Power management. No. Off-board PCI IDE card. Yes, I guess that's slot 1. Let's try slot 6. I don't know. It's got to be slot 1. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about that. Peripheral setup. Onboard IDE. Disabled. There we go. Let's see if we get a SATA BIOS screen. That would be ideal right here. There it is. Let's see if it'll get off the CD. Okay, found the. Well, that's not cool. I found the hard drive, but what about the IDE? Why does it have an IDE slot if it doesn't? Check. Let me see about. Some Treble floppies. One of them is a Windows 95 boot disk, I think. Alright, let's see what this one is. Nope, that's OS2. I don't want OS2 right now. It's cute, but not what I'm looking for. That's OS2. Don't need that. This one's 720. That one's 720. This says disk 1, but I thought that this was the OS2 disk. Yeah, there we go. Windows 95. There we go. No drives found. Okay, so it's totally not seeing the CD-ROM drives when they're plugged into that thing. Get down. Okay, so I'm going to put the CD-ROM drives back in the onboard controller and see what I can pull off. That's one way to get the CPU fan to stop making noise, get the cable stuck in it. There we go. Probably needed to go to DOS first and do an F-disk, but we'll see what we get. F3 exit. Cool. Okay. F-disk. Display. No partitions. Yeah, let's create it. Then I gotta reboot and format it. Okay, SATA is working in this computer. That's cool. It's better than I dreamed possible, really. I don't know why the onboard the port on that controller is not working, but not a big deal right now. It'll just make the CD-ROM drive slower if I have to run them at 33 instead of 133. Seriously? Okay, so needless to say, this is going to take a while. Yeah, the reason I decided not to go with compact flash is my XT only had a 1 gig card, and I've got this set up so perfectly I don't want to wipe it. So we're just going to wait until I can get a better one.